Welcome to the Feminine Wave. Today's episode, we'll be focusing on conscious love, real relationship, where we'll be discussing self-love, familial love, work relationships, society and romance, and also dating at a certain age. Today's guest is Joyce Scherdin, creator of the art and science of coherence method, is a therapist, coach whose work merges science, somatic healing, and spiritual wisdom to help women shift from survival to steadiness, connection, and embodied truth.
Hi, gosh, it's so fun to connect with you. I'm in Louisville, Kentucky. You're on the other side of the United States.
Yeah.
Beautiful Friday, and it's just a joy to meet you.
Oh, and thank you so much for being with us today. I really, really appreciate you taking the time.
It's really my pleasure to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And, I've had a look at what you do, and I got to tell you, I am so excited because I, like many women, would love some answers and some clarification on, what you offer, meaning what you teach us and what we can connect into. So, what at this stage of life, many people of a certain age, are feeling both wiser and again, and also probably a little more guarded because we've had some, stuff happen in our life. And what do you see is the biggest relational shift of women after 60, and how can they stay open without abandoning, self-protection in themselves?
Hmm. I am reflecting. I heard your question. I
Hmm?
don't know that I see a biggest shift. I think the undercurrent, that's
Okay.
how I will think about this. The undercurrent is too many of us took on identities we were given instead of recognizing our true essence, is one way I like to speak of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, if anything, there's the possibility after we move into our 60s and whatever phase and stage of life has behind you, there is an opening, if we'll allow it, an opening to begin to get truer, more honest. But that requires safe spaces to do that. And we're not always a safe space to ourselves. And so I would say, at its core, what I provide is that safe space to explore yourself, to uncover the places where we self-deceive. And I think that's one of our strongest skill sets as human beings, self-deceiving. We really can tell ourselves something that's not true and then
Mm-hmm.
live a life from it.
And I would have to say, just in my own experience, that's a big issue, situation, whatever you want to call it, especially for women.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Especially, that self-abandonment piece. And, we took on masks of what we thought our roles were supposed to be, and how we just thought if we did more, things would work better. And that's the complete opposite is true because we just lose ourselves more,
Mm.
right?
We do. We can.
Right, we can. Right.
I'm on a mission to redefine that idea and to change and shift that belief. Doing more has its place, right? When there's a big event coming up, or I was just having this conversation this morning that the the most productive week in our year is usually the week before we go on vacation. Right? We are making life happen, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is the chronic overdoing, the chronic carrying more than is ours that makes life a bit of a slog, don't you think?
I completely agree. And I have to admit for myself, it took a long time for me to even recognize that that was happening.
Mhm.
In our society, or, where I am, I almost felt it was expected for me to do all this.
Yes, because others are more than happy to let you do it.
Exactly.
What gets praised and rewarded, right, gets repeated. And so, good job doing that. And so we do
Right,
it again and again.
right.
The
I think the
slow develop-
biggest, I'm sorry,
that's the slow development of identity that's left,
right.
right? And we aren't even aware that it's happening.
And I think the biggest word or the best word, I'm not really sure the best way to describe it, is no, I can't do that.
Mm,
Or I'm going to need to think about that.
love that. I love that. I will share with you what's helped me the most to get clear about what I will do and won't do. And it's this little thing I say to myself. No, I don't say it out loud to the person I'm thinking it about, but thank you for showing me who you are. When I
Ooh,
can say that, thank you for showing me who you are, then I know more about what I need to do.
right.
I don't have to
I,
get mad about it. I don't have to get upset about it. It's information. And
mhm.
that informs me of what I choose to do or not do. That's been a game changer in my work and in my teaching, but personally in my life, it really has.
Oh, I love that. I've written that down so I can bring that into my vocabulary. And you often speak about coherence rather than perfection, which I absolutely love. I say I'm a recovering perfectionist.
Okay.
And and how does that idea change the way we approach, say, love, especially after divorce or, you've lost, your partner and or even the long seasons. I am in actually a long season of being on my own. So, how does changing that then um, change our approach?
Sure. Well, I will join you in the long season of living alone, having raised beautiful human beings who are still in my life, which I adore. Um, and it affords me the opportunity to do more inward work because I'm not busying myself with being family, which I loved, and it was a season. But coherence is, uh, it's the physiological, spiritual, emotional goal. So it's a felt body, mind, heart experience. And it's the goal. So to get there requires that quieting of the voice, the courage to look at the stories we're telling ourselves, the I have to's, I can'ts, I've gotta, the guilt. All of those things are clues that really are invitations for us to get quieter and become curious. Well, why do I feel guilty about that? And why do I feel like I have to, like I don't have a say? That's, I would say, probably your entry point toward coherence. And many of us in this society and this age recognize our anxiety increases. And we notice that in overthinking, sleep disruption, or our body being whatever it might be, restless, tense, stressed, achy, inflamed, right? There's lots of ways that that shows up. Those are our entry points, Tara,
Hmm.
to know that coherence is our antidote or our solution. And basically, coherence is where I live from a place of congruence. My nervous system has regulation and dysregulation. That's going to be human and natural. But when I'm living from a place of coherence, the moment I get dysregulated, I'm very aware of it because my body's my feedback system, or my mind, or my heart rate, right? So that's a really beautiful place to be because we're going to get stressed, we're going to get anxious. It's what we do with it once we're there. And so coherence is this culmination of excavating our stories, looking at them and rewriting them and reframing them. All the things that you hear, being kind to yourself, a friend to yourself. But also then coherence is where my heart, my emotional well-being is in ideal alignment with my thoughts. And I'm doing this because my brain is this big old chemical factory and it works more efficient and quicker than any factory in the world. And you have a thought of self-degradation toward, being not kind to yourself. Your brain goes, okay, immediately pumps out a neurotransmitter that allows the body to feel the impact of that unkindness in your body. So coherence is where I'm aware of that the moment I do it, and I self-correct. I regulate my nervous system. I repeat something that's true and loving and kind. So my brain now is flowing with my heart and my life's intentions.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a big believer in that my spirit or my soul is congruent with that also. That's the ideal coherence. Walking in that allows me to be a frequency machine. So when I walk into the room, my coherence is felt.
I love how you put that. I
Thank you.
love how you put that. Um, and I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to apologize. So, for me, it's taken me years to recognize that, that self-talk, that's trash talk, right? Is there, something? I'm trying to find out if there's something that we can do, or I could do, or anybody watching this could do that might help us get to that part of the coherence, the congruency, taking us out of that other story that we've told ourselves.
Sure. Well, I'll give you an upcoming event, and it's an exciting way to talk about it that doesn't require you to go buy anything. Okay, just requires you to be intentional about your choices. So, a wellness retreat business that I'm a co-owner of, we're having our spring retreat, and it's at the end of this month. And the way I have framed this retreat is nature is our medicine.
Mm.
And so we're going to this lovely bed and breakfast in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. So 300 acres of nothingness but nature. And if we will intentionally move into our backyard, the local park, or a forest, wherever you can access, and you allow the birds to sing their song and you listen, that frequency of their song regulates our nervous system.
Wow. I know I loved listening to birds and I knew it always made me feel calm,
Yeah.
and bring me down, but I was unaware of that's what their frequency does.
Yes, there's science behind it now. We can measure so much. So that's simple of an activity. But
Hmm.
then if you layer that activity, not just with listening, but looking at them and just
Hmm.
finding awe in their colors and their beauty and their idiosyncrasies, right? They're quite interesting little creatures.
Yeah.
That takes our mind onto something of beauty,
Hmm.
something that is, it lifts our spirits. if we enjoy birds. Maybe it's the flowers, maybe it's the leaves moving with the wind, but something of beauty that you're listening to and focusing on begins regulating your nervous system. You do this on a regular basis, you become less harsh with yourself. It begins in training the mind to have different thoughts because we're focusing on something that's pure and beautiful and lovely and brings us an uplifting energy. So it can really be a mindful simpleness. And what I found out when I started teaching this with clients, they would come in and they would say, you know, I realize I don't have to go in my backyard or into nature. In the shower, I can start seeing, I can start remembering, I can start being there again. So we can bring it into our interior world in our life, our drive, our home.
Mm.
The other part of this retreat that's coming up that I believe is medicinal, and that is creating safety where women can come. And the offerings are there, but they don't have to participate unless they want to, right? It's a yes or no. You can go on the hike with us, and on the hike, we're going to be pausing to notice what's around us. So to your question, it can be that simple if we'll get into a practice of pausing and wondering where our mind is, what our focus is on, and bring it into the present. We begin finding beauty in the moments, things we're grateful for, and our mind starts getting entrained to think more along those lines versus the harsh criticism.
And I can relate, understand that doing those types of things, um, and because we aren't taught to look at those things. I wasn't taught to look at those things. I mean, not that I don't appreciate being in nature and all of that, but with my doing and doing and doing, like you were saying yourself, and raising your family and and having these adult humans, uh, that it really does. I mean, I can really see that, and I have a place close to where I live where I walk, and it's a body of water. It's called a lake. I call it a pond, but okay. Uh, and there's a lot of fowl, a lot of waterfowl.
Mm,
Yeah.
wonderful.
I mean, from obviously we have geese and ducks, but we get egrets every now and again. A seagull that's been trapped in some storm that came from the coast. Um, and absolutely, yeah. And I even love hummingbirds. They don't make a lot of noise, but they are, for me, they're hypnotizing.
Yes, they are. And water is my
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
watching the sun dance on the waves,
Yeah.
watching the reflection of a still lake or pond. Um, but there is another piece. It's not just the birds that give us frequency.
Mm-hmm.
The earth has its own frequency, and water moving along these 300 acres we're going to go to has frequency. And one of the pieces we're going to do this coming weekend, is we're going to walk up the hill. So our organic movement, right? We don't need anyone guiding and leading a class. And we're going to walk up to a spring. And I live in a city, so springs are not very accessible where I live. But the frequency of the flow of water bubbling up out of the earth is enchanting.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say nature is medicine,
Mm-hmm.
I hope, it is my intention that the
Mm-hmm.
women leave recognizing that they can tap into their coherence, their nervous system regulation, just by going for a walk in a local park with water and waterfowl, right? It's
Right.
quite available to us. It's the sometimes just being made aware of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I am a water person as well. I am landlocked at this time. So, creeks, waterfalls, any of that. Um, and, you're just talking about pretty much everything in nature. And I'm reminded of a film that Julia Roberts, Richard Gere, she takes him to the park and she has him take off his shoes and socks and stand in the grass.
Yes.
I do that. I have a park that has grass. This other place does not have grass. But yeah, just taking my shoes off and putting my feet on the ground. I have goosebumps right now sharing this with you. And yes, I,
We we can really love ourselves if we'll give ourselves permission. And back to our earlier comment, when we feel like we carry so much, sometimes we don't feel like we have permission to take time to do that. And hopefully that's where conversations like this opens the thought, maybe I can give myself permission to do that. It's a beginning, right? It's a new
mhm,
opportunity.
absolutely. And I can look back in my life and I couldn't tell you a day or when it was, but I remember having thoughts where I felt I couldn't do that. I couldn't take time for myself.
Mhm.
And I don't know about you, but I was taught, if I put myself first, I'm selfish. And I love this, getting on an airplane. Put your oxygen mask on first.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a very useful story to tell, right? But it's not always something it's not their go-to because it's not a practice.
Right.
For those who are, who lean into the spiritual understanding of life, that we have a spirit, that's what I call my essence, right? It is who Joyce is. It's
Mhm.
not the skin and the bone and the hair and all of that, right? Um, there is a divineness about that spirit, and it's in all of us. So that for me is the invitation. Like if I do kindness and love and take time for you, well, okay, if my mindset is and spiritually that you're a divine being inside of you, well, hello, I might have one inside of me. So then it becomes an invitation to be reciprocal.
Mm, absolutely.
That's very much how I view life. There might be people in life that thank you for showing me who you are, and I don't want to spend a lot of time with you, but it doesn't take the fact away that there's a divinity inside of you. You have a spirit, you have an essence. It's just one I don't choose to want to be around.
Yeah.
That really keeps me pretty grounded emotionally. No better, but no worse.
Mhm.
I don't have to be one under someone. No one has to be one up over me.
Right.
That's a piece of the coherence window, if you will.
Right.
Keeps me
Oh,
regulated.
right. Oh, yeah. And what is the name of this retreat?
Well, our company is Be Well Ladies, and the retreat is called A Taste of Kentucky.
Oh,
300 acres in the foothills of Appalachian Mountains, and this bed and breakfast is from what they call basin to basin or ridge to ridge. And there's nothing else there but nature and the live animals and the plants that are just coming up out of the ground in these beautiful cabins, and
mm,
farm to table food, and it's going to be a rich experience. But Be Well Ladies, essentially we're on a mission to help women do what we're talking about today, not just for them, but it's our vision is that we're impacting the upcoming generations. If women my age that have grandchildren have a remarkable opportunity to show up for their grandchildren with a regulated nervous system,
Mhm.
and that emits out of us to our children's children in a way that calms them,
Mhm.
settles them. They know they're safe around us. We can tell them no, yes, don't know, but it regulates them, it settles them. And so our retreat business is really multi-generational in our vision. And I love this. My co-owner is 40. And so she brings an energy and a season of life I've been through, but it also invites women of various ages to go on retreat with us. And
Mhm.
so it's quite a beautiful partnership that's
Yeah,
unfolding for us.
I can only imagine. And, I have women friends in varying ages, some older, some younger, and I love it. Because for some of the younger women, I have a younger woman. She's actually only a few years older than my oldest son. I have two boys. And, she recently had a baby. And so it's really brought us closer together and in a different conversation than
Yeah,
we had previously.
yes.
Yeah.
So, uh, Tara, I find when those multi-generational pieces come together, we feed each other's soul, right? They have a wisdom and a youth and a vitality that we remember, but it's not necessarily our truth now, right? And there's
Right.
seasons that we remember. And
Mm.
because we remember, whether we've had children or not children, but we've been that age, that season, we have wisdom and experiences that they drink it up and draw from, which quite frankly feeds everyone's sense of self-worth and value. It's just really lovely. Circles of women sitting around chatting and sharing is probably the most sacred moments of our retreats. But it's also, this is sacred, right? Two women sharing openly for
Yes.
anyone and everyone to listen to. There's just a beauty and a sacredness to that because it's our heart talking.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And having this, again, kind of getting back to water, you doing your retreats are having this conversation, we're ripples,
Ah, yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. And I have a granddaughter. She's quite young. And my intention is to be a not only, a model on, on not necessarily a way to be, but some guidance because I have wisdom. I've been around the sun a few times. And also I really want her to feel free to come to me with anything
Beautiful.
because I know I couldn't go to my mother and it never even occurred to me to go to my grandmother's.
Ah,
So that's that's my intention with her. And also my grandson. Granted, it's a different dynamic. And if they don't feel like they can go to their mom or dad, they always know that they can come to me.
so you're intentionally holding yourself out as a safe place. That's where this work that I do in helping people learn about coherence and regulating their nervous system, Tara, it comes from being a safe place for people to come one-on-one or in a group or in a retreat. But that can only occur once we've done our work
Mhm.
and we're settled into knowing our goodness, our worth, our value.
Mhm.
And those are just breakdown words of self-love, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And I'm not done, so I don't always do it. Probably maybe, whatever perfect looks like, because and just like you said, it's a safe place
Mm.
for them to come.
So I'm not a fan of of perfect.
I'm not either.
Fan of it. You know,
Not at all.
not. Yeah.
You
No.
know, I do life the way I do life. I and one of my favorite words is in my messiness.
Uh,
And it's like I almost want to redefine perfect.
mm, how
Me,
would you
because
do that?
it's perfect in the moment. It may not look like what somebody else wants it to look like. So it isn't necessarily perfect, and it's perfect.
Love it. So my spin on that is
Yes.
doing my best,
Hmm.
knowing that my best will look different. But the only thing I compare to is me.
Right.
I'm comparing me to Tara
Hmm.
or to anyone else, right? Because I'm not you. I'm me.
Right.
So the measuring stick is Joyce.
Yes.
And my morning this morning was not my best because I didn't sleep as well. I think
Hmm.
I'm excited about doing the podcast or going on this retreat. Right? I had things I was excited about, not worried.
Hmm.
Woke up this morning just a little less vigorous, and that was okay. As soon as I got one-on-one with my clients in the office, there it all came, that life force. But that's really for me kind of the what you were defining as perfect, right? My day to day, I set out with my intentions from my heart to do my best. And I
Hmm.
trust that I will do that. And when I don't, because there are those times I don't, if I have ruptured a relationship,
Mm.
then my best looks like going back and owning that and repairing. And then I'm
Mm.
back to my best.
Hmm.
So I have, I guess my word is best. Your word was perfect, but aren't we really kind of saying the same thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love having these rich conversations and, and learning more about you and all of that. I mean, I have just so many thoughts popping up and choice and opportunities and possibilities and all of that, right?
Yes. Well, Brene Brown is the one, I don't remember which book, but she's the one that taught me comparing self to self, because comparing ourselves to others just loads us down with shame. And that's again part of the carrying more than is ours.
Hmm.
There's no way I'll measure up to you because I idealize you. I, I don't
Hmm.
see the flaws that you see in your day-to-day life. So,
Right.
so that was just a real rich learning I grabbed from a book a few decades ago. Um, so anyway, tell me more about what's popping up in your head that you're wanting to.
Well, and it's, just from that, I have two boys and, there'd be times where, one would say, because I'm telling one of them not to do something or whatever, and they'll say, well, he's doing it. And it's like, well, but you're not him. You're doing you. So that's what it made me think of when you were sharing that, because absolutely, I can only compare myself to me.
Yes. So in doing that, Tara, as you're parenting your sons, you're letting them know they have separate identities,
Hmm. Oh,
different
yeah.
gifts, right? Different gifts, different skill sets.
Hmm.
That's a real valuable thing to offer to people.
Right. And, just thinking about, my life and how, I didn't have healthy boundaries, and so I didn't feel separate. Didn't have my own identity. My identity was defined by, I'm the wife of so and so. I hold this position. I'm the mother of this person, and I live here and do this. And those might be, what's the word I want? describing personality, but that's not who I am, to
Right.
your point that you were saying, a few minutes ago.
Yeah. Yes. So I think of what you said in terms of the masks that we wear,
Hmm.
and those masks serve purposes,
Yep.
absolutely serve purposes.
At one time.
They make us think that we're safe because we're projecting a certain persona. They deceive us into thinking we fit in and belong, but they're exhausting because once you enter into a community or a group or a environment with a mask on, the thought of taking it off, then it just, right, it's frightening to the core because,
Absolutely.
gosh, are they going to like me if I start showing up as me because I've been
Right?
showing up as this mask? And when you think about it, I am of the age where when you went trick or treating and wore masks, they were these little bitty slits and pieces of plastic in front of your face,
Yes.
setting you up to have a sliver of a window of a view. And that sets you up to trip on your costume or over the curb or whatever, right? Because you can't see very far. And that's what masks do also. Those identities we take
Mm.
on. My role is to be wife, mother, daughter. Well, then that's the sliver of the world we're being asked to live through. And so, women, ladies, rip off that mask. Let us see your beauty. But
Yeah.
more importantly, inviting you to see your beautiful essence, the way you were created, the way you were meant to shine and show up. I don't
Right.
want that to be hidden behind a mask. I want to get to
No.
know you.
Right. And I like to use the word embrace,
Ah,
right? And because then embracing, it's in my mind, it's a visualization essentially of me hugging myself, and then what my soul, my spirit, then is integrated,
yes.
right?
Okay. You just gave another definition for coherence. Mhm.
Hmm.
When we're integrated, heart, mind, and soul, it's easier, and we're paying attention to it, right? Then it's easier for us to recognize when we've stepped outside of it. And we do. And when we step outside of it, if we'll pause and recognize we've done it and become curious, not critical, curious, what was it that led me to do that?
Mm.
What was I afraid of? What was I scared of? What was I nervous about? Being curious, then it shows up because it's safe enough to do that. And we go, oh, thank you. Thank you for teaching me. I didn't know that I was nervous about that. But now that I know, I can decide I can be nervous and do it anyway. And then I'm developing that strength, right? That courage, that
Yeah.
great whatever. Um, that's the invitation I have, is let's do this work with our eyes wide open, not looking through these small, overburdening
Mhm.
identities and roles that we take on.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man. And I really loved your use of about the mask, and we just had this little slit. And because I remember, yeah, you can't see very well.
Plus,
And
they're scary looking, right? When I'm looking at you and you're wearing a mask, it's pretty scary looking.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
no reason to take it off.
right. Yeah, yeah. And I'm not scary. My soul definitely is not scary,
Hmm.
and yeah, so to speak, almost like, let it all hang out. It's like, because we're all beautiful in different ways,
Yeah.
and we all have a purpose, a reason uh, to be here. We are so deserving and we're worth it.
absolutely are worth it. And my invitation after hearing you say that is don't deprive the world of you.
Hmm.
You know, please show up. We need you. That's why you're here.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Oh, 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 this is just so rich. I just love this. Um, I'd like to kind of go just make a little turn because this is where I am. And so, women navigating dating later in life, what might be the most important inner work to do before looking for a partner? And how could I really tell if I'm truly ready?
Mm, okay. The work that we need to do, in my opinion, is this regulation of the nervous system. And recognize that sometimes my nervous system gets revved up
Hmm.
because I'm excited about something. I'm excited about potential meeting someone new. It also can get revved up when my body is going, oh no, there's something not safe here. Practicing that and understanding that, then you are the tuning fork, right? You strike something and it okay. Be real clear what your vibration is, what your energy and frequency is. That's another language that I use from my neuroscience background, but it's really about knowing yourself and your vibe, your own energy level. What makes you shrink, what makes you spread your feathers and bloom. Okay. So I
Yeah.
think that's a really important piece. And in
Okay.
doing that work, Tara, we learn to trust ourselves.
Mm,
And I cannot think of a better exercise to do in life if you're going to date when you're older than to trust yourself. Because it is our fears that have us shrinking back and potentially missing out on a really great guy.
mhm.
And that fear often comes from the old stories, right? The way I was treated then and there and with him. So that's why I talked about earlier that pathway to coherence is about being aware of our stories and what's true versus not true.
Right.
Now, what I mean by that, and this is a really important distinction, the man I was with that was not kind or was abusive or was unfaithful or was an addict, whatever that was, that's true. But what is true now is he's no longer here.
Mm,
And that's a really important separation. And that takes work and that takes practice of tuning into your nervous system and getting regulated and
hmm.
because
Mm,
I can bring that bad, negative, traumatic, grief invoking, whatever it was, right, into my present, and it clouds me
hmm.
and it taints the man that I may be interested in dating because I may taint him, color him with the brush of the old story. Okay. So that requires being in a safe relationship with likely other women or your therapist or your coach or whatever that looks like, a girlfriend, your neighbor that you have coffee with most mornings, right? Whatever it is. And you begin exploring that aloud. And that aloud voice then helps you to have clarity. So, preparation to date at this age, that would be some of the inner work. Loving yourself
Hmm.
as you're going to love others so that you see if he has that to offer you. Does he meet you where you are? Does he shrink back because he thinks you're too much? There's no such thing. You're you. Do you
Yes.
shrink back because you think he's too much? Right? It's just being that mindful, I guess,
Hmm.
about dating. Um, and old stories. I think that's another way to look at how we prepare for dating. Sometimes at 60 or 65 or 70, whatever you are, and you're wanting to date, we have this image of what the man's going to look like without necessarily looking at our own selves and our own aging. And that's humorous. It's human, right? But I would just say be honest with yourself. And if there's flaws in his outer appearance, but he's radiant and beautiful on the inside, just know that everyone's outside is going to be on this journey of losing its luster and its vitality. That's true. I'm not saying compromise or settle. I'm saying try to get real with that and look at the inner heartbeat of this man
Hmm.
and be still enough inside your own self to determine if this is more than chemistry, it's alignment. And I can only know that if I'm congruent.
Yes, absolutely. Oh,
I'm not
yes.
sure if that's what you were looking for, but that's the lens
No,
with.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I mean, it kind of goes into, my next thought about, repeating patterns. And you already brought that in,
Hmm,
and it's not always just with a partner, a potential partner. It can be with girlfriends or a boss. And it is, and please jump in, it's quieting that voice in my head
yes,
so I can be congruent and in alignment. And so that voice changes
yes,
and isn't that critical voice. It's, whatever I might say to myself, well, you made a mistake. Okay, I'm human. I'm going to do that and not beat myself up for it, right?
yes, yes. So it sounds like what would be an ideal fit for you is someone who also gives himself to be human, gives himself permission to
Mhm.
be human, right? And not beat himself up, not be critical, but knows how to own it, be soft and vulnerable about it, and do the repair. The ruptures happen. It's does the repair occur, right? And
Right.
what a lot of people don't think about because they don't work in my world, as a relationship therapist and coach, we have every human being has what I call imago, an imago image of relationship. And imago is just Latin for image. And
Okay.
our primary caregivers, whoever they were, from birth on, is our imago. And if we have not done the work to break out of those patterns, we're still drawn to things that are subconsciously familiar to us that we grew up with. And they repel us and they attract us. They do both. So that's why this inner work is just, in my view, imperative that we get really clear. Yes, that's how I grew up. Yes, that's how they were. But I get to say now, I get to see that pattern and go, okay, but that's not serving me. I have this desire in the world to show up as a light and love and to be this frequency that says I'm safe and I welcome you. And so that's my work, right? Um,
Right.
and a lot of people don't really reflect, they don't think that so long ago I was there. That doesn't have anything to do with now. Oh, it has everything to do with now if we haven't done our inner work.
Right. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of brings me to, something that I work on is everything is a choice,
Ah, beautiful.
right?
Yes.
Do I want to listen to the old story? Am I done with that? Is it serving me? Is it not serving me? And then, what we talked about earlier about being curious. And if I make a new choice, it could be a new possibility. I would like it to, my intention might be to have it be better or, show me another opportunity. And, even in every religion, we have choice, God, the universe, source, whatever you call it. We have choice.
Mhm. And there's a lot of C words in our conversation today, right?
Yeah.
The choice. We have improved awareness of those choices when we do life in community. And when we do those things and move forward with courage, we end up with a more enlightened congruency and we're coherent. And ladies, I just cannot say this with more heart and passion. This is where you find the man that you want to do life with.
Mhm.
Going back to your dating question, right? You have a
Yeah.
choice, stay single, date to mate, date for fun, right? There's all kinds of choices, but you will find that partner shows up when you pour in your self-love. Give yourself the choices to become curious and then self-correct and say, I made that choice, but that doesn't serve me. I don't have to criticize it.
Yeah.
There's a gentle unfolding to this life if we'll welcome that.
Right.
Mm.
And uh, so I'm just piecing it all together for me.
Yes.
I hope everyone out there watching is doing this for them because I am not you. It's when I am, when I am no longer wearing this mask and I am congruent and in line with myself and I'm being my awesomeness, not repeating my old stories or my old behaviors, I am going to magnetize and have this person be drawn to me because that's what they're looking for. That's who their soul is looking for,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yes.
Mm,
And it's all in nature. The moth is drawn to the candle,
right.
right? The hummingbird is drawn to that beautiful flower that's flourishing.
Mhm. Yeah.
The butterfly to the shrubs that are blooming right when they need it.
Mhm.
All of that in nature shows us when we show up in our authentic self, love and light, we are then attracted to and being attracted
Mhm.
those people that are supposed to be in our lives.
Ooh. Ooh.
Let's just live from that essence.
Mhm. So I haven't missed my chance. I
Oh,
have been learning, and that's what one thing I wanted to say about perfection is that I'm afraid to do anything wrong, to look, foolish or silly. And so then I don't try new things because I don't want to experience that. And actually, the only way I can learn to do something new is if I've done something, I don't even want to say the word wrong, but you get what I'm meaning?
you do. And as you said that, I'm over here thinking, well, that ship sailed a long time ago. I've done a lot of foolish things in my life, right? And it gives me a better sense of humor toward myself. But
Hmm.
more importantly, it gives me the spirit of grace for others when they're doing something foolish, right? Oh,
Yes.
sister,
I,
been there, done that.
I
No,
love that word, grace. I mean, it gives me permission and compassion and love, and I love the humor. I love humor. So,
get from that place, right?
yes.
Get from that place. So my shout out is join us in this journey of living from that place. And we're a
Hmm.
work in progress. And that's
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a work in progress and not to bring anything down, but when I'm done learning what I need to learn here, I'm not gonna be here anymore. So I want to learn as much as I can
Mhm.
and live as many years as possible so I can continue to learn.
Yeah. Well, I don't see that as a downturn because
Okay.
when you read the thousands and thousands of stories of people who have left this body and come back,
Hmm.
they express that as the most magical, beautiful place that they've ever been. So I don't see that as a negative. I see that as a new frontier that I haven't found yet, but will.
Right. Right. And I'm in agreement, I feel like I've come back and each time, I grow to a new level.
Hmm. Oh, I'd love to hear that story. Let's do this again so I can hear that story.
Yeah. I don't know that I know what it is. I just know that it is.
Mm.
So, and, you know, for me, I look at things as, it's either a lesson, a blessing, or a gift, whatever I'm experiencing.
Yeah,
And I've really learned to look at it that way
beautiful,
because then I'm giving myself grace when I do that.
beautiful.
Mhm. Mm. Oh, my dear, this has just been so rich. I've so enjoyed having this conversation.
Thank
And
you.
for the people watching, I'm going to put Joyce's information in so you can learn about your retreat, a taste of Kentucky on 30 acres of beautiful nature and, getting in touch with re reconnecting with who we truly are.
Mm. The
Right?
beautiful journey. Join us in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Joyce, thank you so much again for being with me and sharing all of your wisdom. And I have completely enjoyed, having this conversation with you. And I'd love to have you back whenever you're ready and or you have something new to say to us, or maybe not even new, just something we didn't get to. So you have an open invitation to join me anytime.
Thank you. I have loved every moment of it.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Next time we'll talk about hypnosis and hypnotherapy because we get
Okay.
into the whole realm of wisdom that we don't tap into often.
Oh, absolutely. Our brain, I don't use enough of my brain. And, I see people that yes, I might compare myself to that they might, I feel that, they know more than I do, but not in areas I really want to know about necessarily. I am not a mathematician. I appreciate somebody knowing that. And, still, yeah, just knowing who I am.
It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. I'm glad to know you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, I so appreciate this.
Have a beautiful weekend.
Be sure to join us next time, where we continue to cultivate feminine power, explore potential, and provide information and tools to elevate your life. In the meantime, visit our website at thefemininewave.org or follow us on our YouTube channel at The Feminine Wave to watch other episodes, share what resonated from today's episode, and suggest future topics. Your feedback is imperative in helping reach more women seeking to reclaim their essence. Until then, catch the swell of the feminine wave and continue creating the life you deserve. This is Tara Becker signing off. Take care, and we'll see you on the airwaves.